Welcome to PLZ Soccer's best of end of season video, where we look back at a truly extraordinary campaign in Scottish football with some of the more memorable moments here on the programme. Of course, we've had some unbelievable guests sitting here on the PLZ Soccer couch. Neil Lennon, the former Celtic player and manager, looking back at that memorable journey for the club all the way to Seville in 2003. We had the Motherwell chief executive Alan Burrows saying goodbye to the fans as he headed off north to Aberdeen to take up a new position on their board. And Alex McLeish was reliving the time he signed Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta as a player for Rangers. Have you ever met Mourinho since then, Josie?
Yeah, a few times.
You have a smile and a laugh with him about it?
Well, we met him we played Real Madrid in Philadelphia and noised him up about it that day. So there's none of this nonsense today. And then when I was going through a difficult time during the COVID, he was WhatsApping me, stay strong, good luck, we're looking out for you, that type. And he didn't have to do that.
The class act.
Oh, unbelievable. And this is things that people don't see about some managers. Like Fergie be, first port of call for me. Martin, obviously my relationship with Martin's pretty strong. But some of these managers, I'll give you an example. We're in the Champions League that year, we played Barcelona. And Man United are in the Champions League and we're playing on the same days. But I'd get text messages from Alex Ferguson in the morning about, just watch this from Benfica, the tactical side, or watch this from Spartak Moscow. And you know what I mean? Just taking time out to help a young manager. Just wonderful. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Will you text him if he wins that Europa League?
Jose?
Yeah.
Of course I will, yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on the goalkeeper, not doing double rules.
Vitor Baia. I mentioned that name to Martin and he starts twitching.
I know, I wish I'd have two-footed him after that, honestly. It would have been totally worth it, man.
He rolled about as if he had been two-footed. Is there one moment where you think, this is what the job was all about? I love it.
That's a good question. Yes, there's a couple. If you don't mind me saying a couple, I'll whistle stop through them. Don't have to go too much long. Most recent was the Ricky Lammy's last minute equaliser at Livy, where we'd had a bad couple of months. We somehow got to the point where we had to win. You remember that game before?
Yeah,
I think 4 teams had been in that position and dropped out.
By the skin of your teeth.
In the 94th minute, Ricky Lammy heads the ball into the net, and that was a wild day. Going back slightly further, the day Carol McHugh scored a wonder goal against Hearts in the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup to put us back to Hampden. Again, last minute, on the chest, volley for 30 yards. That was a wild scene of celebration, both at the game and afterwards. Do you know one of my proudest moments, actually? And this is one that not many people would say. Stephen Craigan ran our youth team in 2016, I think it was. Took us to the Youth Cup final and beat Hearts 5-2 at Hampden. And it's the only time at the club that I seen the MD of the club lift a trophy. We got close a couple of times, got to 3 Scottish Cup finals when I was there. Lost all to Celtic, unfortunately, and 2 of them are in the Brendan Rodgers juggernaut, unfortunately. But seeing a Motherwell team lift a trophy at Hampden, albeit it was only the Youth Cup, was an infinitely proud moment. One other one, and you'll like this one, and this will cause a wee bit of stir, probably on social media. I remember when Lionel Ainsworth banged the 3rd goal in at Ibrox to go 3-0 up in the playoffs. And myself and the 2 analysts, Ross Clarkson and Graham MacArthur, who still worked for the club at the time, were sitting on the press box. I was sitting in between the middle of the 2 of them. And the 3rd goal went in, and all 3 of us went to jump up to celebrate. And then both realised, no, we better not. So all 3 of us kind of together got in a huddle, were kind of fist pumping low down. And I remember about 2 minutes later, Peter, I looked up at the scoreboard. Because bear in mind, the whole week had been how we were going to get gubbed. This was a fait accompli. We were going down, Rangers were coming up, return of the journey, all that stuff. And I remember looking, I turned at the guys, honestly, I turned at the 2 of them and said, look at that scoreboard. We're 3-0 up here after 53 minutes. It was like unbelievable. It wasn't really enjoyment so much as one, part relief, but also 2, almost a bit of shock. Just couldn't believe what was happening in front of my eyes. So that's maybe not quite, this sums up the job, I love this. But that was just one of those kind of, I hate to use the expression, one of those JFK moments that I'll always remember. When that 3rd goal hit the net, the silence in the ground, and thinking, wow, we might actually get out of this here. We might come through this tie and still win the Premier League. So, those are, and then obviously right to the start. Lukas Jutkiewicz, the 6 each game. And if you remember that game,
Can you believe some Motherwell fans left it 4-2?
there's one who's watching the club who's watching this probably right now.
Suzanne. I watched her leave. I couldn't believe it.
And Suzanne Reid, who's one of my best appointments I've ever made at Motherwell in my time there was Suzanne. She does a phenomenal job as a commercial manager at the club, and she left early, and we never let her forget that anytime we see her. But if you remember that game, Ross Forbes, we on a penalty. If you remember, Graham Smith brought down Lukas Jutkiewicz in the box. Ross Forbes missed a penalty, 6-5. And I remember at that point, I had left because I had all press box decorum at that point had gone for me, and that was back in the days where press boxes, even back then, that was the kind of end of where there was a lot of decorum in press boxes, and it's different now because there's so many bloggers and new media and a lot of club media staff, so the press box dynamics are a lot different. But back then it was still quite a formal setting, and still press guys with shirts and ties and suits and ties, and it's still kind of changed now. So I thought, right, I'm kind of losing the plot here. I need to leave. So I went down and I stood beside the trackside, kind of just to the left of the bench, standing with the kit man, who in a future life turned into my father-in-law.
Yep.
And then that Jutkiewicz goal went in, and all hell broke loose. And I think I ended up at one point on top of Craig Brown and Archie Knox, jumping on the kit man and running away down there. It was just absolute chaos. But do you know something? See, taking away the Muller element to it, that's what makes football amazing, Peter. That's what we love the game for, regardless of where that goes. That's a moment in Scottish football history that will live in infamy. And it was so brilliant to be a part of that. And it was great. It was my club that happened to. I wouldn't like to be on the other end of it.
Yeah.
But that was a real point where I thought, listen, great. And you'll notice strategically, everybody, that I left out Craig Reid's last minute winner against Aberdeen to help us finish second place in the game. I left it out deliberately.
Mikel Arteta, how pleasing would it be for you having one of your old players guide Arsenal to the title?
God, amazing. I mean, he was just a kid when he came, and he was on the radar, and I didn't scout him. Sir David said, we've got a player pending, and he would cost $6 million from Barcelona. Dick's got his eye on him, or Dick had his eye on him. He's there if you want, but we'll probably need to sell somebody, to try and balance the books a little bit. And I said, look, I've never heard of him. He's a kid. I knew all the other worldwide players. I was pretty decent with my knowledge of those. And I said, I'll send Andy Watson to see him. Andy said he went. So he played at number 6 for PSG on loan. But as you know, in the kind of continent at that time, it was slow build up.
Yeah.
And he was at the back taking the ball, and Andy says, look, nobody really would near him, and he's got great feet. He's quite quick, he's rapid. But I already had a number 6.
Yeah.
Ferguson.
And what a number 6.
I know, one of the best ever. But I thought, right, if it's in if he's in the balance in terms of the club going to pay this money for him, take him, because if he becomes a legend, we'll get slaughtered, And anyway, I got Mikel into the team and moved him into midfield because he had quick feet, and he interacted with the Boer and Arveladze, all these Caniggia, players. He was a lovely player, and of course when he goes into a team of that level, then those guys would help him and protect him as well. Yeah. And of course, it led to the end of the season with him flapping his hands when we won the league. And to see what and you probably, your next question is, did you think he'd become a tremendous manager? And at that age, you don't know, but I knew he was a good kid, and he cared about the game, and he was very knowledgeable. Yeah. And to see what he's done nowadays is fantastic, although somebody gave me the wrong number for him. Come on, Michael, get me your number.
I was just about to say, do you think you can do it?
Every week passes, I kind of think, no, they'll get caught, and then the wee seeded out creeps into my mind, and God, it's looking possible.
Yeah,
it's looking possible and probable. So phenomenal. Well done, Michael. Taught you everything you know.
2023 marked the return of PLZ Soccer's Saturday results show, which allowed us to bring you all the updates from all the grounds across the Scottish Premiership, with reaction from managers and players to the highs and lows of winning and losing in the Scottish Premiership games. I especially enjoyed interacting with our viewers, and there was no shortage of memorable moments when we caught up with our roving reporters across all the grounds in the top flight in Scotland. You know, there's always questions that you like to ask just to get an insight in it. There's one that I didn't ask Tam that I feel as if I really should ask Claire, which is quite simply, I don't know if it was 10 days ago, we did a Zoom call together, and she was standing there just in front of our stairs in her flat, and there was no carpet, and clearly the person clearly the person who owned the flat before her was a Dundee United fan, because the wood was all painted tangerine.
Oh, is it?
Oh, I was howling, by the way, and I said to her, Claire, you know, do you want us to do a crowdfunding for the carpet? Come on, Claire, what's happening with the carpet in the hallway?
Well, I'm still waiting for that crowdfunding that you promised me. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a Dundee United supporter, but you know, I lifted that carpet and I reckon it's been down for about 20 years, so I guess it just shows the longevity of the fans that run through the city.
What a brilliant way to just dig our way out of that one there. But the quest to get as much money as possible to get her a hallway carpet, brilliant. Listen, Claire will be there watching Dundee United against Aberdeen and giving us the full-time report across our social media, and also she'll be getting the thoughts of the managers and the players that have played a key role in that game. Who's going to win it, Dundee United or Aberdeen? You can give us your thoughts, but well done to Claire. Great to see her there. First time she's actually been on without the pigtails as well. Tam, she likes putting the pigtails on, and she's got about 300 woolly hats to keep herself warm.
They are massively important, the woolly hats.
Yeah.
If you keep your head warm at a game, I always find if you keep your head warm, you're warm.
Well, absolutely. I don't think she'll ever go cold up there in Tannadice. Brilliant. Great to hear from Claire Kinnaird, part of our team of reporters, Tam, right across the Premiership, reporting in all the games.
Yep, great. As I said, it's great for us to have people reporting, live for the game. You get a feel of how the game's going, rather than listening to the radio or whatever. So no, they're all doing well at the minute, and it's great for the Saturday show. You've got people out there at the games live.
Yeah, absolutely. John Nicholson says, listen to wee Fatty saying Arsenal would score, which is quite it's quite good that he said that, because you see, the thing about it is what John doesn't. Well, I'm just about to say to you, what John doesn't realise is, coming from such a huge family, he'll never break through the what I call the Death Star shield, Tam, because when you're brought up in a family when everybody canes each other, you know, I can.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
7 sisters and 2 brothers. That's mental, isn't it?
Was tennies?
Yes, yeah.
The man down over telly?
No, there's no television. There was just an air raid to say that the planes were coming overhead, and then that was it. I can tell you,
Are you youngest or oldest?
Youngest.
Youngest of them all?
Yes. Calm your jets, Tam. You've got that startled look. And the good thing is, with John caning me there, at least one of my sisters I know will give you a good leathering, John, if we ever come across you at some point. Let's go to Ibrox, because obviously Adam's been listening to the words of Michael. In fact, Adam's been at Tynecastle.
Peter, never mind the game. I just wanted to come on and talk to you about that goal scored by Stephen Humphreys and just talk about it all night, because I don't think I've ever seen a better goal live inside a football stadium in my life. I know that life's been very short. I've only been on this planet for 21 years, but trust me, if I live for another 100, I'll not see a better goal than that. Everyone's talking about that finish. Obviously, it's from his own half, but you forget he actually picks the ball up inside his own 18-yard box. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Shrugs off 2 players, wiggles in and out them, and then left foot, his weak foot, dinks the goalkeeper from inside his own half. Listen, the game was crazy. Ginnelli's red card was absolutely ridiculous. Terrible and really silly from him to clap the referee sarcastically. The red card shown to Ryan Edwards. I've not seen that one back, but it was just a game full of absolute chaos. But the icing on the cake was that goal scored by Humphreys. Peter, you need to see this. This was absolutely amazing. I don't want to talk about anything else. Let me just talk about that goal all night, please.
Can I just ask you the all-important question, Adam? Was the goal by Stephen Humphreys better than Kemar Roof's in the European competition when he went past 2 players and shot it from the halfway line?
You're putting me on the spot here. I think just because I'm so high off the excitement of seeing that one live, I'm going to say yes. I suppose Game of Roofs, yeah, he does beat the two players. It's in the Europa League, but come on, there was barely any fans there, and I wasn't there, so I didn't get to see it. That when the Hearts fans today, when Stephen Humphries put that in the back of the net, and the place absolutely erupted. It was it was incredible. So yeah, I seen this one. Well, maybe a little bit of recency bias in my selection here, but I'm going to say Humphries over Roof. Yeah.
Great to hear from Adam getting so excited there. Brilliant. He can head home and enjoy his night tonight.
He can.
He
can
go
out in the pool tonight and say to a few young ladies that he's seen the best goal of his life tonight, and he might get lucky twice in the one night.
Just before you go, Adam, give us your thoughts on Kilmarnock. Derek McInnes, again, I don't think he expected to get anything out of there, but they're still trying to get away from the bottom end of the Premier League.
Yeah, table's starting to look bleak for Kilmarnock now, and if you look at their away form all season, it's not just today, Peter, but they've only taken 2 points from away matches this season. I think they got a draw back on the 23rd of December. Before that, it was October the last time they managed to pick up a point on the road. So if they want any chance of surviving or getting away from that 11th place relegation playoff spot, then they absolutely have to start picking up points on the road. So it's not looking good for them. I know you're just about to kick me off, Peter, so just want to say that I'm absolutely going to enjoy my Saturday night. 15 minutes to get up the road instead of taking the 2.5 hour journey back from Aberdeen, and I just want to make sure I get that in there because Kerry had been laughing all week at me for the Aberdeen trip, which ruined the night out last weekend. She's got to make her way back down from Dingwall, and I was kind of hoping that game might have been a 0-0 just to make her journey even more miserable. So I hope I have a better Saturday night than Kerry this week, Peter.
He's just the kind of teammate that you could absolutely hate, wouldn't it? Honestly,
he's not a team player. He is all about Adam. He wants to score a hat trick and get beat 4-3.
It's going to be Adam's channel. He'll be taking over shortly because he always tells us when he's coming in, when he's on, who he's going to interview, how great a footballer he is. And now he said to us, "I'll be on before the end of this programme at Pittodrie." And when he says that, you know what? I believe him. I think it's the Forrest brothers. And are we going for the McGinns?
No.
There's somebody else.
Smiths. I'm going for the Smiths.
You've just made up the Smiths, haven't
not.
you? Okay, let's see if every day's like a Sunday. Adam, what's your answer to the quiz?
You're correct with Alan Forrest and James Forrest, but it's actually Sean Kelly and Liam Kelly. It's the other two sets of brothers. Sean Kelly, of course, of Livingston that I was watching today, and Liam Kelly, Motherwell goalkeeper. So that's the two answers. By the way, I can't believe that competition clips came just before this, and I've realised I'm wearing the exact same outfit. Everyone's going to think I'm an absolute tramp for wearing the same outfit, so I do apologise for that. Not to mention the fact I'm standing in the middle of the pie stall as well here at Aberdeen, so sorry to all the viewers who have had this improvised backdrop put on them right now.
Yeah, the other thing about it, Adam, is Tam's saying get him some PLZ gear. You've got half the wardrobe in PLZ gear. You've got more than enough. Listen, we were talking there. You've watched the Aberdeen game, but the big story is Ross County defeating Dundee United by 4-0. Clearly, nobody wants to see a manager lose his job. But Adam, it's one of those ones where I think all of us will be looking at Dundee United. They've got a big call to make.
Peter, I think he's got to go at this time in the season. It was a risky appointment in the first place. He's an inexperienced manager, but this time of the season, I believe that's them now 4 points off Ross County, albeit they do have that game in hand. You've seen already that it's working for other clubs, changing managers. Stuart Kettlewell gets his first 2 victories, and didn't quite go to plan today. And even today, we've seen Barry Robson as well managing to get 3 points for Aberdeen. So I think if Dundee United want any hope of surviving this season, unfortunately for Liam Fox, he's got to go, and they've got to get someone with a bit more experience just to steer the ship till the end of the season.
And just before you go, you witnessed there Barry Robson. Barry Robson obviously steadying the ship and keeping it going. What was the fans' response to that win today? Because Livingston are a tough nut to crack.
The fans are absolutely delighted. I think you would have heard it in my full-time report as well. I couldn't get a word in. I couldn't make myself speak at the end of the match for the fans cheering the players off the pitch. They stayed for longer than 5 minutes after the full-time whistle went. The players applauding the fans off, and the players reciprocating that as well. And also, Peter, I'm not too sure, is that past 6 o'clock now? You should probably be getting this show finished because I've got a train to catch, so don't keep me much longer, please.
Overtime.
He's even telling us when he wants to finish. Wait till you see his Sam Wardrobe piece when he's got his slow motion move.
Wait, I'm going to hammer him for that ban.
Brilliant. Good luck to Adam.
Safe journey down the road.
Yeah, well, he's driving the train as well, don't you? Because he's taking over the railways as well. Our pundits have delivered their usual expert analysis on the beautiful game. Alison McConnell, Hugh McDonald, Tam Cowan, Tam McManus, McManus and our very own Alan Ruff. We've even discussed Ruffy's trainers, and Tam McManus has delivered some impeccable one-liners. I know you're a man of integrity, Ruffy, and this is undoubtedly going to be your last show as you resigned from PLZ 10 years. You said, and in fact, don't bother, I'm not even going to bother asking you what you said. Let's have a listen to what Ruffy said the other day about Jekyll.
Stone baller. He nearly broke the boy's leg. He dived. That was a rash challenge. And did he connect with the boy? Did he connect with the player?
He's at it, isn't he?
Did they connect with the player? What was the other player doing in the ground then if he never connected with him?
Try to get him sent off.
No, it was a red card for me.
Yeah?
The way the rules are just now, if you lunge in like that and you connect with somebody, it's a red card.
Yeah, James Jekyll's red card has been reduced to a yellow after appeal. The panel overturned the sending off, and the Australian international is now available for all of Hibs post-split games. This is what Ben Kensel had to say about the decision. We're pleased that common sense has prevailed and the appeal panel has overturned Jimmy Jekyll's red card. This is a positive outcome. However, throughout the current campaign, we have raised serious concerns with the standard of officiating across the Scottish game on at least 5 occasions where decisions have wrongly gone against us. We will work with other clubs and the SFA to bring needed improvement to the current system. So there you have it, Ruffy. I can look back over so many great times we've had together. Now obviously you're a man of integrity. You've got to resign after that debacle.
Well, I've been told on this. I've been told on numerous occasions on this show, have an opinion.
Yeah.
So the first time you have an opinion, you're sacked.
Basically, that's about it, Ruffy. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Yeah.
I'm still not. I'm not changing my decision.
I thought you said I'm not leaving.
No. I'm not changing. It's just
Wall Street. Exactly.
It's just a matter of time before somebody breaks a leg, and then we'll see what kind of card you get for that. You cannot be getting into tackles with your studs up. It's there in the rule book, but whoever looked at it obviously didn't think that's right. The thing I'm thinking about, what are referees thinking?
Yep.
If you're a referee and you're making an honest opinion and then somewhere down the road, I think a lot of referees will be getting really miffed by these cards that are getting overturned.
Well, listen, you know what it's like. I was just thinking there, Ruffy. I'm staying. Why don't we embrace the rugby situation, which is quite simply, referee explains it, mic'd up, and you can hear the VAR guy as well. What's the problem?
Well, the problem is if you go to Rangers and Celtic Park, Ibrox and Celtic Park, and you're explaining to the 66,000 fans why they've just conceded a penalty.
Imagine John Beaton on the mic. He's at Ibrox, and he just wondering, listen guys, I know he's upset, but yes, it was a penalty. Celtic, they're just going to say, oh, well played, John. What a sport.
Listen, the point is this. Are we looking at the most popular sport in Scotland and in the UK and saying we can't embrace it the same way as rugby does, because maybe we're not, are we not as intelligent as the rugby fans? Are we not as disciplined as the rugby fans? Am I being stark enough in my assessment of the fact that maybe we are all so primitive and so backward that we cannot tolerate a referee and a VAR assistant saying on mic, on a game, by the way, have a look at it, don't have a look at it, here's why.
I don't think we're there yet.
No,
you know,
why not?
At the rugby,
why are we not there yet?
you can drink alcohol and the fans sit mixed. Where does that happen in football? It doesn't, because then there's a reason why it doesn't. And I don't know why we're not there yet, but I don't think we are. I don't think that would be acceptable.
You know what?
Too tribal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I made this point.
There is more passion in football than there is in rugby, let's be honest.
I made this point right at the start of VAR, and I can't see why anybody would now disagree with me, but I don't know why we even had to make public the person that was in charge of VAR. That's just for your conspiracy theorists. You know, why did we need to know it was Willie Collum?
Why did we know where they were? That was another thing I looked at and I thought to myself, really? You're inviting us out here and you know it, everybody knows where it is. And by the way, I mean, Fraser's, your man here, Richard, has just said that rugby fans are, you know,
Fraser Forster.
The reason why I was thinking Fraser, because Richard Forster says rugby fans are not as passionate about the whole game as, and I've just had a message year from Fraser McFraserson and Campbell McCampbellson.
The Shinty boys.
You know, I watched Hearts on more than a few occasions this season, and he's a standout.
Aye, well, and again, that's not a shock. I mean, he's just out of the English Premier League. I mean, that was his last gig. You know, so let's be honest with this league and the English Premier League. If you're going from English Premier League to this league, it's not like for like.
No.
So he's going to stand out. And he was always a beautiful player. And I use the term advisor. He was always a beautiful player to watch because of the way he could manoeuvre and play the ball.
About him once you're finished. It's like I actually locked him in an office when I was chief executive of Dundee for 6 hours, trying to persuade him to sign for First Division Dundee instead of Leeds.
Is that right? Aye.
And I tell you, what a professional guy he is. His standards.
Yeah.
And there's the big thing about standards. He's got huge standards about training and about playing. And you know, sometimes people don't like that because they have to raise their standards to do it. And you should try and be all you can be. But can I just conversely say about Stephen Naismith? Again, he was a young player when I was at Kilmarnock as the chief executive, and he's strong-willed and minded. He's a great guy, and he has amazing standards as well.
I think William Smith makes a great point there. If you'd like to read that out, please.
Yeah, Ruffy, you shaking your foot because you've got new trainers on. William, yes, William.
He's got new sketches on, William. Well, great spot.
Absolutely.
And I must admit, I looked at the colours, very, very staunch.
Yes, it's brilliant. They are.
Pressurised into them. I had to.
Where did you get them?
What, you were pressurised into blue and orange Skechers?
Comfortable, not colour. I don't buy things by the colour.
Good stuff, Ruffy. Well done.
Being
Well
comfortable.
done. Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
And by the
I
way,
had to buy green insoles just to balance it out.
yeah,
What did you do with old ones?
I won't be keeping them. Though.
He painted them orange and blue.
Well, they'll be in the washing machine tonight. They'll be on later on.
Yeah.
They're not getting thrown away.
To be fair, I have to say, well done to William, who's our fashion correspondent, who spots anybody who wears the same socks twice in a day, in a couple of days, and of course new Skechers, Ruffy. Well done to you, by the way.
Not at all. I know it's a football show. But
Definitely digging into your millions and getting a pair of trainers.
Turning into fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. Just out of curiosity, will you be wearing them to the end of the season?
Yes.
Yes, that's fine. Gregor says, is Paul Hartley a good lad, Peter? Because obviously it's my catchphrase.
He might be the first manager that I think I've ever known that could get 2 teams relegated in one season.
Yeah.
Liverpool, I think, are gone, and Cove might be gone as well.
Well, with all due respect to him, he comes from this area. I've known him for a long, long time. And he is a good lad. Slightly odd at times. I even tell him to his face, you're an oddball, but he's a good lad. I like him.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to say he's done well in football. The amount of clubs he's won, where he's
just gone down
doing
though.
something right.
Terrific player.
He does.
Brilliant. God's sake.
Really, very, very good player.
Well, to be fair, by the way, he wasn't even the number 10 at Hibs. They used him more wide. He wasn't.
Yeah,
he wasn't
he was
the
brilliant in the
best.
Championship, and we won the league by about 25-30 points, and his career was going nowhere until he went to St Johnstone, and I think it was Billy Stark put him in the middle of the park.
Middle of the park.
His career was going nowhere as a winger, and they put him in the middle of the park, and then he went to Hearts.
Yeah.
I remember playing against him at Hearts. He was a totally different player, and he was magic at Hearts, and that's how he got his move to Celtic, and done well at Celtic as well in the middle of the park. So it's amazing how some manager sees you in a different position, and then bang, it just clicked for him.
Well, I give you 50 years this very day, I think it is. 50 years ago this very day, Willie Miller made his debut against Morton in a 2-1 win for Aberdeen. Willie Miller started out as a striker.
Wow.
And then, obviously, as a striker, Ruffy, he signed on for Aberdeen, and eventually they switched him to the centre-back position, and from there he never looked back, and his whole career transformed.
It's amazing. I just wish that a manager that I played under seen me as a centre-half.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I've had 14 clubs.
Well, absolutely. I think sometimes,
at least more times in the last Christmas.
Sometimes, Ruffy, they can change your fortunes because they spot something. Talking of, we're getting to the last few weeks, Ruffy, I always have this, not sympathy, but an understanding of how difficult it can be for players now looking for a job. Listen, we've all had to do that in our life, but you know, you're looking, you're wondering, will I get a new contract? Peter Haring, desperate to extend his Hearts stay, but suddenly when the call doesn't come, you're not in the manager's office, you're wondering, I wonder what's going to happen here. He's had a few injuries, and Peter Haring, like a number of other players, might think to themselves, maybe despite my qualities, they think they can get somebody more consistent and better elsewhere.
Yeah, well, that particularly Hearts. We're talking about Hearts. That's what Nazy will have to decide. You know, he's worked with these guys. You know, while he was a player, he'll know the values of each individual. So it'll be up to him to make that call at this precise moment in time. But you're right. There's going to be a lot of players. Some teams carry a bigger squad than others. You know, and that means there's more people going to be released. But as it is just now, I mean, there's teams like St Mirren showing losses of 1.5 million, and the majority of them are all showing losses, and that's a bad sign, because that means the first thing they're going to do when they sit around the table is talk about budgets. And the powers that be will saying, look, we're losing money every year. This has to stop. So these are one of the reasons is you cut your squad accordingly, and sometimes when you reduce the wages that players are on, that means they leave as well because they think they can get money elsewhere.
Yeah, I tell you what I do like. I mean, it's a bit cutthroat, but I do like the PFA game that's organised, where you know some players who are still looking for a club and maybe haven't managed to land one, playing a game, you know, over the 90 minutes, and hopefully some scouts come and watch them from the clubs and take a wee chance.
Yeah, I think that is a great addition from the PFA. I think
it's a bit X-factory, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But as a player that's been out of contract several times myself, you know, they also put on training. You know, they've got coaches in there who maybe take them for a week or two's training, you know, in the summer. I think it's important mentally for yourself, you know, to go in and train with other guys and not just run around a public park yourself or do it in the gym. I think you're in there, you're getting football training, as in, you know, match stuff, and you're getting a game at the end of it.
Can I ask you this, because you, and I'm not being facetious with this, can I ask you, what's it like mentally? How strong do you need to be? Because you've been at a few clubs, you've moved on, you've had to look and think, where am I going next? Where is my next wage coming from? How long am I going to get in a contract? Where do you get that mental strength from?
I think you've just got to try and keep yourself, you know, sane. You've got to keep training, you've got to keep running. You know, I hated training, you know, I hated running, but you've got to go out and run, because the phone might go the next day, Peter. It might be a manager going, right, listen, I'll get you in for a week, and if you're not in shape, they're going to take one look at you and go, nah, I'll get somebody else. So you've got to just keep yourself ticking over. I remember, I think I'd left United, and Stephen Presley was the manager of Falkirk, and he phoned me to come in and play in a trial game that night. It was a Stirlingshire Cup game at Falkirk Stadium against Stirling Albion, and it was a reserve game. He says, listen, do you fancy playing in it? And I hadn't been training or anything, and I remember the fear going through my body, thinking, I need to do well here. If I get in this game and don't do well, I might struggle to get a club. Full stop. And I went in and played in that game. I'd never been so nervous in my life. There was about 30 people at the game at Broadwood. Elvis was in the stadium, and I played in the game. And about 10 minutes into the game, we got a penalty, and I took the penalty, and I've scored. You know, I've took penalties in big games, semi-finals, you know, and scored at Ibrox, Parkhead, whatever. And I went up to take that penalty, and I was nervous taking that penalty. I think if I miss this, I might not get a deal. And I scored the penalty and played about 80 minutes and done well, and Elvis signed me. But for 300 quid a week, 350 quid a week in the Championship in Scotland, but I had to take it because Elvis had no money. Now I was either going to take that money or I was going to go gambling, so I'll get something more than that. But I hadn't been paid in about 2 months. So you're thinking to yourself, well, that gets me back in again. And I always remember that game at Falkirk, you know, taking that penalty kick, and then how nervous I was. But that's the same for every player out of contract when you get in trial. You know, you feel as if I need to get a contract here. If I don't, I'm going to struggle to pay my mortgage next month or my car. And that's players that are Premier League Championship level. You know, that's not. I think it's different if you're part time, you've got a job, then it's fine. But if you're wanting to stay in full time football, then you've got to get yourself a club and in quickly.
It's a chilling insight and a great insight from Tam into what befalls certain players.
Yeah, I've never had that problem.
Yeah, Ruffy just plant that custard guy.
Just put my arm in there and he just went back, innit?
You know, see at that moment,
Depth of despair was in at that time.
you were hoping that he suddenly showed just a modicum of compassion, but there was nothing.
No, there was nothing.
You know,
I was fortunate enough. I had
you're good.
13 years.
Go on, hammer on. Come while he's down.
No, I just the teams I was at wanted me, and I was 13 years at Thistle.
Yeah.
I was 7 years at Hibs, and then they kept offering me deals.
Yeah.
And then I went to Celtic. It wasn't until I was 38 when I went to Hamilton and Ayr that you knew you're coming to the end. But I can appreciate what you are when you're of an age when the insecurity, and it must have been horrendous.
Thank you to everyone who watches the show, subscribes to the show, and of course listens on podcasts as well, Ruffy. Lots of people are tuning in various platforms.
Yep, I'm going to give my wee guy a mention who I met this morning, Kenny Ruff. He wanted to know if we were any...
in relation, no?
No, but we aren't. He was from a different bit. But he's a window cleaner, and he goes about, obviously, cleaning windows. And he has his iPods in all day while he's cleaning the windows.
A bit of pain?
It keeps him...
Yeah. That's what we've missed, Ruffy. That's what we've missed. Just glaze over it. Absolutely. And who can forget that classic line, he's a windy cleaner who cleans windows. Just before we head off into the summer, I thought I would show you my personal favourites of all the football show content that we've been putting out on PLZ Soccer, and this is a special one. Our very own reporter Adam Binney had that chance to impress the Livingston manager David Martindale with his skills, but it didn't quite work out to plan.
Well, here we are at Livingston, the PLZ Challenge, and I'm delighted to say the cream of Livingston Football Club is here to try and beat Ali Crawford's record of 7.4 seconds. And of course, Shyness from PLZ, the greatest footballer never to be signed by anyone. Adam Binney is going to show the lads what to do. And then all these guys are going to try and beat the record, including the gaffer.
I'm not, I would normally join in, but my back's
So we're ready to go. Adam, show them the drill, halfway line. Oh no. Oh! 11 seconds. Right.
Bruce Anderson, he's got no chance.
You happy with 7?
What?
You happy with 7?
Beat Ali.
Oh my God! That's on camera! That is fantastic! Oh, that is brilliant! That's made my day!
Here! He's running about with a cone in his boot! He looks like one of the dogs with a lampshade on.
And that is it. Thank you very much to you for your support of PLZ Soccer and all the content that we've showed you this season. The figures are in and they are absolutely amazing, and we hope to come back next season bigger and better with even more unique content for you to view. Once again, from everyone here at PLZ Soccer, thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the new season.